So today we're welcoming Alina from Everstake, Nader from Eigenlayer, and our friend from Superform, which yeah, exactly. I know the topic today is about developer tooling. As Francesco has, thank you, Francesco, has proposed, we're going to introduce also a small refresh about the Pectra upgrade impact for end users, developers, and institutions. But before that, I wanted to have a refresh about the latest news about every platform that we have here. So let's start with Alina and Everstake. Can you just debrief us on the latest news from Everstake as a leading staking provider, like 6.5 billion assets under staking? You guys,
you're doing my job.
You guys are pretty much invested into the staking, restaking, and liquid staking space. So please, yeah, debrief.
Okay. So you mentioned pretty like the basic, the information that everyone needs to know. But right now we're actively focusing on the research side and data provision. We're creating our new data products and creating crypto reports to cover the market trends and what's going on. And right now, the number one mission that we have on that site is practically a big scientific article on Pectra. So it will be like a bit later, but it will include a lot of details and insights and analytics, and it will be a huge one. We will cover just a bit right now as it's like before the Pectra, and then we will have more on the aftermath and what's going on and what are the results of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nader, what's up with Eigenlayer right now?
Well, we're protocol complete as of 2 weeks ago, shipping slashing, and we're pretty excited about that. Now we are hyper-focused on basically lowering the barrier to entry for developers, so improving the developer experience. 100x is kind of our focus. We want to make it easier to build a verifiable application on Eigenlayer than it is to actually build a smart contract. We want to make it as easy as building just any traditional like Web 2 application. TypeScript, Rust, Python, whatever you would like. Write your code, deploy it to Eigenlayer. You now have verifiability. You can verify anything on the entire internet. Kind of really opens the design space for building applications. So that's kind of our main focus right now.
And how big is the AWS ecosystem right now? How many developer projects do you have?
Yeah, I mean, we're tracking around 700 teams that we would consider potential mainnet projects. We have around 200 that are mainnet projects, like marching towards mainnet that we assume are going to make it. We have 50 that are on mainnet. With EigenDA specifically, we now have the highest CDS of any data availability layer, along with the most throughput, and we're about to launch an upgrade that will raise that by several numbers of like multiples of what we have now. So we're excited about that as well. So I would say the two things, EigenDA and then the protocol itself, just building out developer tooling to make it much easier.
And zk-TLS are among your favorite projects, I guess.
Yeah, I think zk-TLS is probably one of the breakout use cases that we're starting to see. You build something, you don't really know what other people are going to kind of then build on top of that, and then sometimes you have a crazy breakout use case. zk-TLS seems to be that. There's a lot of apps that are becoming like really wildly successful that are using zk-TLS under the hood, and the users don't even know that that's kind of the case, which is really, really cool. And I think that we're kind of seeing other developers realize that they're exploring it, they're building more apps, and it's kind of like it's like snowballing. So zk-TLS is a great example of a crypto primitive that doesn't use tokens. That's just essentially leveraging crypto economic security and verifiability to build out new use cases that weren't possible before.
Yeah, strong PMF, and it's generating revenue among the...
And the companies are generating tens of millions of dollars in revenue.
Absolutely.
So I mean, like, it's literally the best of both. It's like all of the things that we've been wanting to see happen are happening. So
amazing. Superform, what's up with the developer tooling platform? Can you update us on the latest?
Yeah, so Superfluid is the protocol for programmable cash flows. So effectively what you can do is you can stream tokens over time across networks and within the same network. So instead of a regular transaction where you send a bunch of ERC20 tokens from A to B, you have a fraction of a token every second flowing from two different accounts. We do actually benefit quite a lot from smart accounts. So very, very, very excited to see that happen. The protocol has been live for 5 years now, and we have just crossed about 800 million in volume that was transferred so far. We have about 600 projects built on the protocol so far across about 12 networks. Yeah, very excited to join the panel today. I think we have seen a lot of tools now being available, even Eigenlayer and others that we didn't have like 5 years ago or 4 years ago. So if we had to build everything from scratch today, it would have been a very different story. So yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, removing the friction. How many developers do you have right now?
Sorry?
How many developers do you have right now?
In the broader ecosystem?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know the number of developers. I think the number of teams is about 600.
Yeah, okay, huge numbers. Okay, perfect. Let's jump into the Pectra upgrade right now. Alina, so why is everybody talking about the Pectra upgrade and what is it about here?
Oh my God, Pectra upgrade is actually one of the biggest after the Beacon chain. It has a lot of updates for the consensus layer and the execution layer. It have a lot of EAPs, a lot of proposals, about like 20. It's the biggest one that we have like since the Beacon chain. The loudest is of course like the increase of the maximum capacity for the Ethereum to be staked within one validator from 32 to 2048. Yeah, and that's a thing to discuss because it has a lot of like impact on the whole network, and it's a very important thing that influence basically the whole network, meaning that right now we are at the stage where we have about 1 million validators, and according to the recent studies on the testnet, if we go up to 2 million of the validators, the attestation and the process and the network won't be finalizing. And won't be like finalizing as it should be, and that's the problem. Because if we're not finalizing, the network is not syncing, and the network is not working correctly, and we're missing the attestations. Attestations are not going to the network, and what is attestations? It's functioning of the network, and of course, like the yield that we're like getting, because if we're not getting the attestations, validators are not getting rewarded. The other proposal that would be also an important thing for especially like the wallet users and just the retail users, that would be the authentication and authentication call proposal, where you will be able basically to it's a kind of like an evolution of account abstraction, where you will be able to create a smart wallet, smart account, so to say. So it won't be like just a regular wallet where you can just send the transaction, but you can have bundle transactions and do like a lot of things in just one thing. So this proposal is just like it adds a lot of new to the block size. It will be increased from about like 3 to 6 per block. So that is important for the scaling of the Ethereum. And I don't know, there's like a lot of dimension on that side, but that's the most important things.
Nader, is it impacting your business at Eigenlayer?
So I don't know enough about the Pectra upgrades to comment on a lot of the specifics because I haven't honestly been keeping up with all the details. But I know our protocol team has a lot of modifications and improvements that are going to be kind of being merged along with the upgrade that do affect our protocol. So I think we are actually doing some write-ups and we'll be publishing, in a lot of those details. But you can actually go into our GitHub and see some of the conversations that are happening like in real time right now if you would like to keep up. So.
Yeah, similarly for me, we have been building across CVMs for the last 5 years, and I don't think there would be a very big impact to the protocol itself with Pectra. However, there is definitely an enhancement for developers that are building with Superfluid. For example, there is no reason why EOAs need to give an allowance in the transaction and then make the transaction with the second transaction. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense, right? And we can bundle those. We could already do that with some smart contract accounts, like Safe, for example. But now every account will be able to do that. So I think there's going to be a lot of savings in terms of time, effort, code lines, and also a thoughts process, which would streamline the development on the broader Ethereum ecosystem. I'm not a developer and I'm not technical enough to dive into the very details, but for example, 7702 is something that was discussed a lot across the team, and I know that there is a lot of excitement around it. So keen to see what builders are doing with that.
Like, one tiny comment I'll make is that the actual software engineers and developers building software on EigenLayer, or I would say building services or building applications on top of those services, they won't be affected at all by any Ethereum protocol changes at all. It's kind of all abstracted away, you know what I'm saying? So I think for EigenLayer,
it's more on your team actually.
Exactly, like the protocol engineers are dealing with that, and they have to worry about that. But if you're building on EigenLayer, service, or if you're building an app, you basically just don't have to worry, because it's kind of just all happening under the hood, for the most part. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody has his own internal roadmap to go after that. What about the increasing the validator balance? I think it's the AP 7251.
Yeah, 71, 52.
7251, yeah.
A lot of numbers on that side. But it's if we're talking also about the difference with the previous updates, like the Dencun, it was more focused on the scaling. And this upgrade with the Pectra, it's more understandable for users, meaning that they will have they can actually interact with this upgrade, meaning that they will have updates within their wallets, their MetaMask wallet. They will have some new features possible to add on. They will have more possibilities within their staking, because if we're someone on the institutional side, they can do more than 32 within one validator, and that's greatly reduce the cost for validators, which is I love it. Yeah. I really love it on that side.
I guess so.
And it's the upgrade that we actually need to do, because at some point the bandwidth of the Ethereum network in terms of the number of the validators will just get to an end. Yes, we can somehow make the limitation for the amount of validator, but that will limit the decentralization. But when we have an increased number of possible Ethereum stake to one validator, we can increase the number of people to the network, but somehow balancing the bandwidth of the actual network, so we won't be halted and we can live forever and ever. And regarding the staking side, also an important thing that there is the proposal that goes within the staking withdrawal, meaning that you can be connected to the